Hi everyone, welcome to Insights with Lily Zhang. Today is 4th of June. To most people this probably is just an average date, but in my memory this is a special day because in 1989, 4th of June, that was Tiananmen Square. Still very vivid in my memory. And for Hong Kong people, today is quite sad because for the last 30 years in Hong Kong, every year, 4th of June, that's their memorial day. They have candle night memory. That's Hong Kong is the only place in China or out of in China or for Chinese they can memorize this day. Because this day in China is totally forbidden. There was Tiananmen Square. In 1989, the pro-democracy events in Chinese government used military power to crash the student-led democracy movement. So, Hong Kong is dead because this year they are forbidden to have anything to do anything, any events, memorize this day. So I feel sorry for Hong Kong, and it's not surprised. Anyway, let's not forget this day, 4th of June. Well, I'm here. It's still in Melbourne, and we're still in lockdown. And as I expected, I told my friends last week we're going to extend another 7 days. So not surprised, another week of lockdown. But they have a little bit change. Regional Victoria, they lifting up the restrictions, but regional Victoria, they don't have any people. That's regional Victoria. It's just countryside. So Melbournians, we're going to endure another 7-day lockdown. A little bit change. You can go out of your home for 10 kilometers instead of 5 kilometers. Okay, but totally, I still, they like yesterday they have 2 cases and today they have 4 cases and they are having 2 weeks of lockdown. This is totally stupid and unnecessary. I think Victoria government is absolutely stupid because compared with New South Wales, if you don't know New South Wales is another state where Sydney is the capital. Melbourne is the capital of Victoria state. Compare with 2 states, because in New South Wales they have the Liberal government, which is Conservative Party, and in Victoria they have the Labour government, which is lefties. So compare with these 2 states, they have a totally different strategy dealing with this coronavirus. But look at the numbers, you just know who's totally stupid. Compare with Victoria, like for the last year, they have about 30,000 international travelers. And New South Wales, they have 120,000, 4 times than Victoria's visitors, international visitors. But they have lockdown days of 45 days. Victoria, how many days? 160, 170 days now. We're going to 180 days, so 4 times than the New South Wales. And how many people die in New South Wales of coronavirus? About 45 people. How many people in Victoria? More than 800 people. And the Victoria asked for more coronavirus assistance than New South Wales too. I think New South Wales, they dealing with this pandemic with much better strategy. They have targeted, they try not to lock down. They try their best not to lock down because they calculate the economical cost. But Victoria, they just try best to lock down. It's just show the leadership is totally stupid. And Of course, I always say what kind of people will elect what kind of government. So in Victoria, definitely there will be more lefties than liberals or than conservative or probably less business people. And Victoria actually is the least affordable state in Australia who can have a lockdown, because Victoria doesn't, because Australia's economy largely formed by mining industry and farms. So other states like Queensland, Western Australia, even New South Wales, they have mining industry. So even lockdown doesn't affect them too much. But Victoria really doesn't have much industry. And then the third, like service industry, is the biggest industry in Victoria, like hospitality and the service, international education, tourist, those industries. So if Victoria locked down, and they'll impact large or majority of the business. That's why Victoria is basically, I think Victoria is already broke, and they have like $11 billion in debt in this couple of years. And people, I feel really why lefties are so stupid and morally broke, because they think money drop out of the sky. So they don't care about business. They just care about all they know is just ideology. It's their agenda, their ideology, and they know how to spend money. They never know how to make money. So, and all their total strategy is spend more and tax more. They just damage the whole economy, environment, and the economy. So what do? But someone has to pay the debt. People voted for lefties. They never thought the government, it's not government give you money, it's government rob you. You give and you have to pay. When you think about the government give you money, it's not, the government doesn't have money. They just grab money out of taxpayers' pocket and then they pay you. That's how stupid Victorian people are. So, yes, now they get the bill from, it's not a tax bill, of course, tax bill. Victoria government just increased so much tax, and they target business, target richer people. But I think they just have the new budget. They increase so much tax, and increase tax on land, increase tax on stamp duty. That's when you purchase property, you gotta pay a percentage. And they increase the like windfall, like developers, if you change the land use, like if you change your farmland to develop land, you gotta pay a large amount of taxes. And also they tax on payroll. That means if you if you pay more than $10 million on wages, you gotta increase the tax. Oh my God, this is totally crazy. And well, of course, when people, so anybody think when you get the government give you some kind of benefit or support your business or something like that, it's not out of their pocket. It's out of your pocket. It's out of taxpayers' pocket. So that's why I see it, Victoria. It's totally broke. So for the next 5 to 10 years, I don't know how many years they're gonna pay so much tax to pay off this hugely expensive lockdown. But anyway, like I said, what kind of people will support what kind of government? They deserve it. So if you vote for lefties, vote for Green or Labour parties, just be prepared. You're gonna pay them more tax, and you're gonna be poor. Anyway, I don't know how many people know this, but most of business people, they support conservative parties, because conservative parties, they know the money doesn't drop out of the sky. The money is out of business. That's why you got to create an environment, encourage business and encourage innovations. So this trend, Victoria is just the lefty government in Australia. But there, in Europe, in America, most of the developed countries, they have these lefty parties, and they probably their power is increasing. Like the Green parties in Germany, I heard they have their power is increasing just because I think the media and the education system, there are so many lefties and so influenced by all infiltrated by communist and or Marxism. Of course, Germany is the cradle of Marxism, so I'm not surprised, but hopefully I heard there's some power struggle between Greens, and maybe when more people wake up, they probably, I think money hurts. Eventually, money hurts. Because it doesn't matter lefties or Greens, the economy needs money. One day they're gonna, once they're out of money, they can't just print money out of the sky. Someone has to pay for that. People will wake up when their pocket really hurts. Money really hurts. But that's an expensive the procedure. Anyway, this is a very interesting word, and my European friends, they all started going for holidays because their pandemic is pretty much under control, which is right, because in Europe, because the vaccine rolled out, and also the mass testing, so their pandemic is pretty much under control. I think this is a false belief. I think especially for my European friends, that they think the pandemic is already gone. Actually, the real picture, it's not. It's this year compared with last year, probably it's getting worse because, oh yeah, for Americans or European people, they feel better because they open up. But worldwide, especially in Asian, Latin America, Brazil, Argentina, they still have very bad pandemic. Even the bad thing is last year there are some countries doing quite well, like Taiwan, Vietnam, even China. China, we don't know the real numbers, but they for some time they have very low infections because they have pretty strict control. But this year, those countries, they have almost out of control. Well, India is the biggest, the worst one, but Taiwan and Vietnam, they did very well last year. This time they have very high infection rate, and so they are kind of in crisis mode. So this just tells us the pandemic is far from going away. It's not under control. Some countries doing well because their vaccine is better, but they are because of the variant, the Indian variant. Oh, okay. Now they call that Delta variant. This is stupid WHO. They just so politically correct. Because when if you don't know what Delta variant, they are the Indian variant. And they have Alpha variant, which is the British variant. I just hate organizations like WHO. They are so useless, and who cared about WHO before? And this year, they kind of like recently they just approved the Chinese vaccine, the Sinovac. They approved China's vaccine. There's no trial, there's no peer review. It's that's why European Union and American, they don't approve Chinese vaccine. And I heard it's developed by Chen Wei. Chen Wei is a military general of. She just took over the Wuhan lab. Oh yeah, recently there are more evidence showing that the coronavirus originated from Wuhan lab, because in November 2019 there were 3 staff was sick and hospitalized, and with very obvious COVID-19 symptoms. That's, of course, they have more evidence in it. But if you go back to look at to search my videos, I talk about that. I said actually the coronavirus was originated from the Wuhan lab in February 2020 last year. Anyway, it took them 1 year to get into mainstream media. Mainstream media, they just totally politically correct and totally stupid, of course. Anyway, but this just gives you a whole picture of this virus. It's always got variant. The variant will different countries like Vietnam, they've got the combination of British and Indian variant. It's a new variant. So the virus mutate all the time, and vaccine, maybe the only thing can bring us out of this pandemic is vaccine. But well, how long does it last? The antibodies created by the vaccines in our body? Oh, about 6 to 8 months. That means we have 1 or 2 doses now. Yeah, we know the virus mutate all the time, and we know the vaccines last, the effectiveness lasts about 6 to 8 months. That means we might have to get vaccine every year. I had 1 dose of vaccine, and I probably have another dose. Am I going to get vaccine every year? I don't like that. I hate it. So I think after 2 doses, I definitely don't want to get a vaccine every year. I think the whole humanity will be dependent on the vaccination. And on the other hand, I already talked about so many times about IDE, antibody dependence enforcement of the vaccination. So with the mass vaccination, we'll see superbugs, supervirus. That's a very, very doom future. Oh, I don't want to scare you, but looks like well, the good thing is probably we won't heard much about the flus, annual flu, and we'll heard about the annual coronavirus. And I think the best way is to build up my natural immune system. This time, I just get my body to get to know the novel coronavirus, because we never know this before. Because I believe it's created by the lab. I think after this year, I think my body, or most people's body, will recognize this, or the whole world recognize this coronavirus. It's not going to be novel anymore. So I'm going to train my immune system to fight this virus, not rely on vaccination. Anyway, I think this virus is going to be with us for at least another 3 to 5 years. So just be prepared. No, I don't know how many industry is going to be affected by this, but it's going to be a long-term thing. So many things when you're dealing with virus, when you get used to them, when our body get used to them, they become weaker. Okay, that's the program today, and now we get into winter time in Melbourne. Although it's winter, I just see magnolias open. They have blooming flowers. It's a spring flower. So Melbourne's winter is a bit like springtime. At least one thing is really good in Australia. They have plenty of sunny days and the sun is shining, even in wintertime. Okay, I hope you enjoy my program, and if you like, please forward to your friends and subscribe to my channel. I see you next time. Bye bye.